Hey everybody, Danny Mod here. Thanks for joining us. This week I've got a quick question for you. Have you got a swing that has quite a lot of moving or unwanted movements? Let's imagine, for instance, you take it around here, you swing it over here. Maybe through the impact area you've got a little bit flicky here, or you've got some sliding going on. Whatever it might be, you've got some movement in your golf swing that you want to get rid of. Secondly, you are struggling to strike your irons well at all. You're struggling to get a lovely compressed strike that strikes the ball, then the ground, and therefore losing distance, losing direction, and certainly not getting any consistency. If I said to you, those things, all those things in the swing, those strange movements, the poor ball striking, could possibly be fixed with just two tiny changes to your swing. You'd probably think it was just another one of those random videos promising the world but then under-delivering. Well, take a look at this. This is Rick. Rick comes and sees me, flies in from Germany with his wife, beautiful couple, comes out to see me, and this is his swing at the start of the session. There's a lot of movement going on, as you can see here. Movements coming in, movements going over, left foot coming up here, head dropping, dipping almost in his swing here. He's even got a little bit of a flick. You see a lot of people flicking through the impact area. Rick was one of those, losing massive amount of power, poor ball striking, and nowhere near enough power. But take a look at this. This occurred after he made just really 1 to 2 changes to what he was doing, and the rest is history. Suddenly now, look at the swing. Look how much more rhythmical it looks. Look how much more orthodox it looks. Now, we don't just want a good-looking golf swing. We want something that's functional and consistent. Well, his ball striking suddenly started to get that lovely feel of compression, and it was wonderful to see. So you could just be just 2 little fixes away from completely transforming the overall look and obviously function of your golf swing. That's what we're going to cover in this week's training. Before we do that, if you're new to the channel and this is one of your first videos, please consider subscribing. If you press the bell, you get to receive videos just like this one every single week, so I can come and help you improve your game. So what do we do with Rick? Well, as you can see, he was making some very interesting moves, right? So he's coming in here, he's got a dip going on here, he's flicking through impact here, he's flicking through here. He hasn't got that strength. Now, I'm sure that you can relate to some of this. I'm sure all of you here would love to get that brilliant compressed strike where the hands are leading through the impact area here. We've got the ball position there, we're in there, we're compressing that ball. What we don't want is, in a sense, this flicky motion here. Now, if you have a look at Rick's swing, you'll see that when he's swinging through here, he's got this flicky motion here, his left foot is even coming off the ground. But the question is this, some people look at that swing and say, those are faults, those are problems. I look at that swing and I say, Rick's an absolute genius. His body is an absolute genius. His body is an incredible problem solver. He's doing all those things because of one problem. 2 things. On the backswing, is coming down, and as he's coming down into impact here, his club face is wide open. This is one of the biggest problems in golf. When you get to a position here, this is what we class as an open club face. When you get to about parallel with your feet on the way down, the face is wide open. It should be here, slightly turned downwards. There's the first problem. What Rick's going to have to do, and he does it naturally, his body's a genius, is he thinks, oh, that face there is wide open, and his body goes like this. And it starts to turn and close the face. In closing the face, he gets this position here. Now, here's the other problem with this. Why does Rick lift his heel off the ground? He's been trying for 10 years to keep it on the deck to help his body's ball striking. The problem is, his body's clever. It needs to stand up because what happens when he starts to flick the club inside here, the club gets longer. As the club gets longer, the body has to stand up to provide any form of room to hit the shot. If it didn't, he would hit the ground, right? So just one tiny fault creates all these unwanted movements. Now, a lot of people go around trying to fix all these bits and pieces when you've got to get to the root cause. Your body never does a stupid thing. Okay, your body is basically an absolute genius, and whatever you do, if you make a fault somewhere in the downswing, it's going to help you recover and compensate. So we need to, in a sense, get rid of the need for compensations. So we did two things with Rick. We clearly got him, trying to feel the club face more here, but we also did, which I released last week in a video here, which I'll put up in this top right hand corner, two feelings. I wanted him to feel like he's basically, the hands here are leading through impact. So he's almost de-lofting the golf club because he knew he was getting the feeling of, in a sense, increasing the loft. So I want him to get the sensation of decreasing it. So I got him to grab a sweeping brush. Now this does two things. You saw Rick on the way down having a face wide open. Well, that would be like a sweeping brush here. Now, can you sweep the floor like this? No, you can't, right? So take the club, turn the brush so it's facing down here, and I got him just to feel, in a sense, the sweep brush here, just sweeping the floor backwards and forwards, right? So in a sense, this was a very different feeling for him because he was so used to, in a sense, the face being open and he needing to flick. So closing the face meant now that he didn't need to flip it. In fact, his body didn't want to flip it. It didn't make any sense for it to flick it anymore. It didn't have to compensate, so he could feel it going through square. So let's have a look at this. I'll come back to the brush in a second. So we got him to, in a sense, now swing back here. Feel that the club face is now almost facing the ground a little bit as opposed to wide open. And then I got him to, from here, get the sensation now that the club has de-lofted through impact. Now he's not chopping down on it. He's simply, in a sense, sweeping the ball almost upwards. He's not chopping down, look. His face is down here, it's closed down, and he's sweeping the ball upwards. At no stage now does his foot or heel need to come up. Why? Because look at the shaft now. It's with an angle, you can stay low to the ground and strike the golf ball. If I was to release that, my body's going to have to stand up quickly, and your feet, or in this case, Rick, his foot compensates. For those of you who may get what some people call early extension or standing up through the impact area, it's just the same thing. You're simply releasing the club too early, and your body is creating some space. That might give you also the feeling that you're lifting your head up. So let's get cracking. So we made a swing. We got the club face, excuse me, almost been there. We got the club face facing the ground here and then sweeping it off. And we started off with some very, very small little shots. So let's have a look at this. So back here, facing the ground and just brushing it up there. Okay, just chipping it forward just for now, not trying to hit any distance. Get ourselves set, face the ground here, and just brush the club up there. No release or anything at this stage. We're just simply imagine it's almost facing the ground, and we're going to brush, and there we go. Just chipping it forward for now. Let's have a look at it from this side here. So we're going to get from there, back, brush the club forward. Let's have a look at it from face on. So you can see there, look at the difference in the whole mechanics. No need for him now, his body doesn't need to make all those compensations because one, the club's in the right position now, so he's in a position to get that compression. And not only that, he's also got a very different feeling of strike. He's now realized that actually you strike a golf ball with the club de-lofted, and if you look at this here, when I'm sweeping the floor here, the handle doesn't go down to chop. A lot of people misinterpret strike. They're always trying to compress the ball by chopping down on it. That's not how we strike it. What we're going to do here is this. We're sweeping the floor. Look at the handle. It actually works upwards through impact. So we're now getting the beautiful compression, but we're sweeping the ball. The best players in the world actually take very shallow divots, okay? So look at this again in action here, just to kind of start finishing off. Practice getting the club face facing the ground here. They're wonderful if you're strikers, over the toppers, all those kind of things. Most people who come over the top are generally caused by the fact that you have a wide open blade here and your body very cleverly has to compensate or does its very best for you to try and square that club face up. All those unwanted movements aren't problems. They're the genius of your body doing its very best for you to try and hit that ball straight. But we just can't do it consistently. So if we take out the need for those compensations, you're going to be more consistent. And one of the simplest things is making sure that that club face is square down here, and square is not there or there. It's angled, so it's almost parallel with the body here. Okay, coming down and then just simply sweeping the ball up, using that feeling of the broom back here. Small swings first. And look at that there, beautiful strike. Just chipping it forward for now. Rick could not believe the effortless power he was getting. He felt as though all he was doing was chipping it forward, and he just couldn't believe the strike. So in summary, your body is an absolute genius. And if you have strange looking things going on in your golf swing, the chances are you don't want to get rid of those. You've got to find the root cause. Those strange things are the genius of your body trying to, in a sense, compensate for what's going on. And what we've got to do is kind of find out what that is. For most people, it's this club face. The club face is in a poor position here. As it approaches impact, we're going to be in problems. Just check your grip. Make sure, obviously the biggest impact on club face is your grip. Make sure you've got a decent neutral grip at the start. But apart from that, get a broom, feel in a sense, not this, feel in a sense the leading here and brushing the ground, coming up. Get that club face in position there so you can get a sense where it is, and you're going to find that those strange compensations, just like Rick, will start to disappear. I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and maybe come and subscribe to the channel so I can give you some more content next week. But until next week, have a great golfing week.